Thanks for joining us on this Monday. I'm Sam Shocker. It is a big day in the Middle East and the war with Iran. The U.S. military will blockade all Iranian ports as part of efforts to force Iran into agreeing to open the crucial Strait of Hormuz and accepting a peace deal. Iran responded with threats on all ports in the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, taking aim at U.S. allied countries. NBC's Richard Engel has more.
As of this morning, the U.S. military is set to begin a new role to control marine traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. And it's already sending oil prices even higher.
We have a blockade going into effect.
President Trump has railed against Iran for partially closing the strait, accusing Iran of holding the oil markets and American consumers hostage. Now, U.S. Central Command said it will prevent vessels entering or departing Iranian ports in the strait, but won't block non-Iranian ships or, quote, impede freedom of navigation to and from non-Iranian ports. But a full or partial closure enforced by American warships is nonetheless a major escalation, and it comes after peace talks between Vice President Vance and Iranian negotiators in Pakistan broke down over the weekend.
We just could not get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms.
President Trump saying on Saturday he doesn't care if Iran agrees to a deal, insisting the U.S. is holding all the cards.
Regardless what happens, we win.
For now, a 2-week general ceasefire with Iran is still holding, but just barely. Iran is threatening to respond to the new partial American closure of Hormuz. Without providing specifics, the top Iranian negotiator said Iran will respond and Americans will soon be nostalgic for $4 and $5 a gallon gas. And Israel is also continuing to pummel Lebanon, which Iran insists violates the ceasefire. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Israeli troops inside Lebanon over the weekend, saying the war there is not over. Israel is intensely bombing what it calls targets linked to the militant group Hezbollah, killing hundreds since the general ceasefire was announced last week.
President Trump has a new social media critic. Pope Leo, the first American pope, has been writing that he doesn't agree with the U.S. waging war on Iran. Our prayers for God to be on the United States' side in the fighting. The Pope says God rejects leaders who wage war and stresses that Jesus cannot be used to justify war or violence. The president fired back last night, calling him a man who was only elected because he's an American.
I have no fear, neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. And that's what I believe. I am confident.
The president is also angering some of his more religious followers with this post of an AI-generated religious portrayal of himself. So switching gears here, expect some gusty winds, warmth, and low humidity today. Looks beautiful outside and calm at the moment. I think that's over Coors Field, if I'm correct, I hope. Yes. The warm temps, however, they're going to be short-lived, so let's check in now on this Monday with our senior meteorologist, Chris Bianchi. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday, Sam, and we are looking at some elevated fire concerns for today. Then tomorrow, the wind will back off and we'll get a bit more low-level moisture that will decrease our fire danger tomorrow. And watching at the end of the week for the potential for some snow here in Denver. Probably not done yet, as I've been telling you for the last few weeks. Mid to upper 60s right now around town. And we've got fire weather concerns for southeastern Colorado and also along the Cheyenne Ridge and down through the foothills west of Fort Collins. There's a fire weather warning, winds up to 40 miles an hour here today. Next 12 hours here in Denver, temperatures will top out in the low to mid 70s. So beautiful day, perfect for those outdoor plans. But then this evening, those temperatures will begin their nightly tumble as they tend to do. And those overall headlines, it's breezy with some gusty winds this afternoon, drier today and staying on the mild side. But then there's that fire weather warning that includes most of southeastern Colorado. And then later this week, we've got not one but two chances for meaningful precipitation in the Denver area. One tomorrow night and a better chance on Friday. And that one could include snow. So I'm going to have details on that busy 7-day forecast. Temperatures doing this little roller coaster ride. That's all coming up in just a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. There's a new contract deal between the meatpacking plant JBS in Greeley and the union representing the employees, but it's really up in the air as to who got the better end of the deal that ended the 3-week strike. Yesterday, the union says they ratified the tentative 2-year collective bargaining agreement. The union says the new contract will give workers new wage increases that are 33% higher than JBS's offer before the strike, but JBS says the agreement reflects the same framework they presented in their last, best, and final offer. JBS also said the union reallocated pension contributions to wage increases, foregoing pension benefits. But the union says that's incorrect because workers at this plant have never had a pension. Union officials add that JBS also will no longer charge employees for personal protective equipment. That was another major point of contention. Well, we now know the name of the man that Denver police shot and killed last week. He's been identified as 58-year-old Joseph Martinez. It happened in the Westwood neighborhood on South Quitman Street. Police responded to a report of a man with a gun. They say Martinez hid in an alley and refused to drop his weapon, but then he pointed his gun at them several times before they shot him. He was taken to the hospital and later died. No officers were injured. The circumstances surrounding the shooting remain under investigation. Aurora police say a 14-year-old boy led officers on a chase in a stolen car and now has serious injuries after crashing that car into a tree. Police say a license plate reading camera identified the stolen car along Peoria Street near Colfax Saturday afternoon. And officers tried to stop it, but he kept going. The pursuit ended with the crash into a tree on East 11th Avenue. 3 other kids were also in the car and had minor injuries. A woman in Aurora is seriously hurt because of this crash. Police say another teenager, a 13-year-old, was driving when he lost control. Colorado Puppy Rescue posted this video on Facebook that shows the crash. They say it happened on Friday at the home of a family that fosters dogs for them. That teen now faces multiple charges, including hit and run, while the nonprofit is working to raise money to help the victim.